Hey folks, and welcome back to another Division 2 video. I don't imagine this is going to be a very long video, but I wanted to talk about one of the most frequently asked questions I get in the comments. So today, let's talk about whether or not you should play the world tiers or skip them and go straight to the Warlords of New York expansion in Tom Clancy's The Division 2. So let's jump into it. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome, and if you enjoyed this video, giving it a thumbs up goes a long way, and consider subscribing for more Division 2, Division Universe, and other gaming content. Okay, let's get into it. This is a question I think I see the most in nearly all of the comment sections of my videos, and that's, should I play the world tiers or skip them and go straight to New York and the Warlords of New York expansion? And really, it's not too complicated of a question, it just depends on what you want from the game and why you play it. First, let me just go over what I mean by world tiers, just in case you're a new player to the game and this isn't something you've come across yet. The world tiers in the Division 2 are almost like the second part of the game, or the beginning of the end game for the base game, before you get into the expansion. After you beat the main campaign and complete the capital building mission for the first time, you'll move from the normal leveling system of 1 to 30 onto the world tiers and the gear score systems. This is also where you're introduced to the main endgame enemy faction, the Black Tusk. When you enter the world tiers, you start at world tier 1 and need to increase your character's gear score by gathering better loot and equipping stronger gear and weapons until you're at max gear score for your current world tier. Once you're at the max gear score for your current world tier, you'll have to take on a stronghold that's been invaded by the Black Tusk. Once you've beaten this, you'll move on to the next world tier with a new max gear score to reach. This keeps going until a max world tier of 5 and a max gear score of 515. But of course, as the question asked at the beginning of this video gives away, if you own the Warlords of New York expansion, you only have to get to level 30, then you can pretty much start the expansion straight away just by heading into the New York map, completely skipping the world tiers. And this may have its pros and cons, but like I said, it very much depends on what you want from the game. In this video, I'm going to be talking about both options, and how skipping the world tiers or playing them will affect your experience with the game. Also, towards the end of the video, I'll do a quick summary just to round it all off. If you aren't too sure about how leveling, gear score, or the world tiers work, I did make a video breaking down everything you need to know about the stages of leveling and progression in Tom Clancy's The Division 2. I'll link that in the description and in the top right here. I do also have one part of my in-depth beginner's guide series for Tom Clancy's The Division 2 that focuses on endgame activities and systems. It goes more into the world tiers, gear score, and other elements and activities of the endgame of The Division 2. I'll also link that one in the description. So let's tackle skipping the world tiers. Who is this for? Well, if you've played through the base game, you've just beat the capital building for the first time, you've unlocked your specializations, and now you just want to max out your gear and get straight into the Division 2's endgame content. Legendary missions, the raids, Iron Horse and Dark Hours, and of course, Kenley College. Okay, I'm kidding about that last one, but if you are eager to get into the harder content with some friends and don't care too much about the story or world of the Division, you're just here for the gameplay. Or if you're leveling a second, third or fourth character and you've already played through the game in full, then yeah, maybe skipping the world tiers is for you. You'll skip over the grind through all 5 world tiers, you will miss a little story and exposition, but that's really it. And if this isn't your first time playing through the game and you've already played through the world tiers with a previous character, then there's really no benefit for replaying them. One thing I would say though, is if you are thinking of skipping the world tiers and heading straight into the New York map and starting the expansion, remember you will need to complete the full Warlords of New York story before you're able to return to the Washington DC map, so make sure you complete anything you want to get done before traveling to the New York map, including side missions, collecting SHD tech, or unlocking perks or skills. Once you head to New York, it's going to be a while before you get back to DC, so just keep that in mind. Now let's talk about playing the world tiers and who this could be for. Firstly, if this is your first time playing Tom Clancy's The Division 2, I'd say play the world tiers. They build upon the story and world of The Division 2. And I feel like it's always worth experiencing everything a game has to offer, so you don't feel like you've missed out on anything. If you decide to play the world tiers, you will be introduced to the Black Tusk faction, an advanced and deadly PMC, or private military company, and their invasion of Washington DC. The Black Tusk invasions are an endgame mechanic that switches up different areas of the map and missions on a weekly rotating basis to change the flow, mechanics, and of course replace the usual enemies with the much more challenging Black Tusk. And with the Black Tusk, the story of the base game continues, giving you a little bit more insight into where the Black Tusk came from, why they're in Washington DC, and who they're working with. If you're a player who is looking to get immersed in the post-virus world of The Division 2, I'd say it's worth playing through the world tiers and experiencing everything the game has to offer, especially if this is your first time playing through the game. So to sum it up, should you play the world tiers? Well, if you don't care about the story and just want to rush to the end game, gear up your character and take on some of the harder content, or if this is your second or more playthrough, then yes, I'd say skip the world tiers. There isn't really anything more you'd gain by replaying them, other than if you just enjoyed playing through them the first time and fancy going through it again. But if this is your first time playing through the game and want to experience everything the game has to offer, especially when it comes to story, characters, and the world building of The Division, then I'd say don't skip the world tiers, play through them. Enjoy the progress and story in the way the game was intended to before moving on to the expansion. I hope this video helps you out if you are trying to decide whether or not to play through the world tiers in The Division 2. But of course, if you have any other questions or anything I may have missed in this video, feel free to ask in the comments below. I'm always keeping an eye out and answering all and any questions I feel I can. So when you first played through The Division 2 for the first time, did you play the world tiers or did you decide to skip them? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Also, if you have any advice I may have missed for new agents also trying to make this choice, leave that in the comments too. Let's try and help each other out. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more Division 2, Division Universe, and other gaming content. If you'd like to check out more of my content, there's tons of Division 2 videos in the description, a link to a duo Twitch channel where I'm one half, as well as my other socials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.